Welcome to Roofing Road Trips, the podcast that takes you on a thrilling journey across the world of roofing. From fascinating interviews with roofing experts to on-the-road adventures, we'll uncover the stories, innovations, and challenges that shape the rooftops over our heads. So fasten your seatbelts and join us as we embark on this exciting roofing road trip.
Hello and welcome to a live Roofing Road Trips. My name is Heidi Ellsworth and Roofers Coffee Shop is in the house at Attic Breeze. We are so excited. Gatesville, Texas. We're in the offices. We're going to be doing plant tours later on today. But the first thing we wanted to do was a live Roofing Road Trips with our friend, Austin McConnell. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. I have to tell you, we are just the opportunity to take roofing road trips on the road. Flew into Dallas yesterday and we are here and really such a beautiful place. And we want to talk today about ventilation. So I'm pretty sure I said my name. I'm Heidi Ellsworth and we are all coming together here to find out more about what's going on. But I want to start first with some introductions. So Austin, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do with Attic Breeze?
My name's Austin McConnell. I've been with Attic Breeze going up, I think, 3 or 4 years now. I'm in the technical support department. There's another gentleman in my department named Michael, and we kind of take care of support, warranties, and helping contractors and the homeowners.
Tell us a little bit about Attic Breeze. Tell us about the company.
Attic Breeze was brought on because the original owner was having problems with the heat in his attic. And so when he was up in his attic trying to run stereo speakers, he figured out that he needs to find a better way to ventilate the attic. And so one thing led to another, and this is what he came up with.
I love it. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
And today, tell us a little bit, just give us a little bit about why Attic Breeze is different.
Well, Attic Breeze is a little bit different because when you're talking about ventilating an attic, not one size fits all, okay? So you've really got to take a look at the pitch of the roof. You got to take a look at the square footage. And this is where our training comes in handy because not one size fits all. Right, and you've got some fan companies out there that they don't offer training, they don't offer recommendations, they just sell you a fan and tell you to slap it on. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so that's what makes us different is we train contractors on how to properly install them. If there's an issue with a fan, we explain how to troubleshoot it. Yeah. Right, and so we think it's not only a superior product that makes us better, but it's a customer support that really puts us over the top.
That is it. Everybody wants to have that relationship and they want to know they're going to be supported. Yeah. So let's talk just a little bit to kind of set the level stage here. Let's talk a little bit about the importance of ventilation because there's, that's been a topic in the industry since I've been here, and that's over 30 years, and for different parts of the nation, different regions. But why is ventilation so important for homeowners and building owners to be considering, and why is it so important for contractors to be talking about?
Well, especially in this area that we're in right now, right? During the summer, we can hit temperatures of 105 or 108. Your attic can easily get to 140, 145, sometimes 150 if there's really poor ventilation. And in this area, all of the ductwork for our air conditioning is up in the attic. Yes. Okay? The insulation that's around that ductwork, it can't handle that kind of heat. So the air conditioner has to work nonstop. But if you can get air exchanges into that attic, in other words, by pulling in cooler air from the soffits, you start to drop the temperature of the attic. Okay? And when you can get that temperature in the attic way closer to the ambient temperature, now that air conditioner doesn't have to work as hard. Furthermore, if like on fall days, if you can look at some houses and you can see where every rafter is. It's called ghosting, all right? That is poor ventilation. Okay. And so what's going to happen now is shingles are going to start to buckle, okay? You're going to have moisture issues, you're going to have humidity issues. So the more times that you can turn the air over in the attic, the better off it is for the house. And
really, whether it's here in Texas, where there's so much humidity and also just heat, but across the country, I know being from the Pacific Northwest, ventilation is incredibly important because of mold.
Yeah.
And so it seems like wherever you're at, there's a reason that attic needs to be ventilated.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the importance, and you already mentioned it, but the importance of really supporting our contractors with first understanding ventilation, and second of all, how to install it correctly, how to make sure that it's there. So what do you at Attic Breeze, how do you help train your contractors, and what are some of the, what's some of the programs that you do with them?
So every Tuesday and Friday at 9 o'clock Central Time, we put on, it's called Best Practices Training. And so what you do is you explain how the fan works, really what the dynamic is behind the fan, and then you start using it as examples on houses, right? Mm-hmm. So the pitchier the roof, right? Yeah. The more cubic feet you have up in the attic. So again, what you're trying to do is diagnose the house to the size of fan that you need and install that to where it's not just pulling air from one area, it's pulling air from all four sides of the house. That's when you get balance, where you don't have hot spots in the attic. Okay, mm-hmm. That's what you're trying to do. And so during those best practices training, that's exactly what we go through.
Yeah, and so when you really look at that balanced system of intake and outtake, right? Yep. That is what's neat. So when you're looking at the Attic Breeze type of active ventilation, what kind of talk through that a little bit, how that helps create balance and how you kind of share that with the contractors?
So the biggest thing about the Attic Breeze is that you've got to be able to have air that you're pulling in from the lower vents, right? Mm-hmm. So we recommend to all the contractors, look, if you're not popping up in the attic to take a look around, you're not doing it right. Okay, so you want to get up in the attic, you want to turn the lights off, and you want to see, can I see daylight coming in through the attic or through the soffits, right? And if I don't, do I need to add some more intake over there so I can create the balance?
Right.
Because again, what you're trying to do is put enough CFM on that house to where all the soffits are providing air, so it's pushing the hot air up to the fan and it's getting it pulled out of the house.
So for everybody out there, CFM?
Cubic feet per minute.
There you go. Okay.
Cubic feet per minute.
I love it. Cubic feet per minute. Okay. Okay. You kind of mentioned this a minute ago with steep versus not so the more pitch it has, but there's also different types of products, because I know I've been in the exact same position and have seen this working with asphalt shingle manufacturers, that if the ventilation's not right, it can cause extreme damage to the asphalt shingles. But how about other types of roofing products, whether it's slate, metal, obviously asphalt shingles, and also the different types, styles of roofs? How is ventilation, what do you have to talk about, and how do they look at their calculations, and do they need to do things different?
Well, and it doesn't really matter what type of roof you have, whether you have metal roof, whether you have clay tile roof, whether you have shingle roof, you're still looking at ventilation. So your metal roofs, we manufacture a curb mount fan here for metal roofs and for barrel tiled roofs. All right, we obviously manufacture the self-flashing fan for shingles, but we also manufacture gable mount fans and wall mount fans. Right? Because if you've already got a gable mount, a passive gable vent, this is a perfect solution. It's low profile. All you ever see is the actual solar panel, because the fan mounts up inside of the attic.
Nice.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there's different ways to ventilate it, and it's all predicated on really the architecture of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you get into the pitchier roofs, like your 8 and 12s and your 10 and 12s, you've got a whole lot more cubic feet up there. There's a whole lot more mass. So, just one fan might not do it. And so on our website, we've got a page called the Design Studio, where you plug in basic information about the house, and it's going to tell you exactly what you need for the house, okay? Whether it's a curb mount fan, whether it's a self-flashing fan, whether it's 1 or 2. And what we run into is a lot of contractors, it'll tell you that you need 2 fans. Okay, because there's so much cubic feet up in the attic space that 1 fan isn't going to do it. Right, so you really need to have 2, and then so when you do have 2 fans or maybe 3, you want to spread those things out so they're affecting different areas of that attic space. Right. So again, because we're trying to avoid those hot spots.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so the biggest problem we have is a lot of contractors will say, well, I know it tells me I need 2 25-watt fans, but can't I just go with 1 45-watt? It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So if you'll follow, because again, The math that the design studio is using is how much CFM do I have to attach to that house to turn the air over 10 to 15 times an hour? That's what we're looking to do.
Yeah. Okay. That makes total sense to me. And I love it, the fact that, every Tuesday and Thursday you have these opportunities to present to contractors on ventilation and everything. If the contractor is using the design studio to kind of go in and figure it out, can they then call you or how do they continue to get help if they kind of like, I need a little bit more to understand this?
Yeah, we do it all the time. I've still got a handful of contractors that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they still call just to go, is this what you see also?
Right.
Yeah, and so, some guys still like to use the crutch, but then we've also got other guys that have learned it, they've got it down pat. Heck, some of them could work here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
they're that good at it. Yeah. So by making yourself available and letting them know anytime you talk to them, look, you guys are great at roofing. Okay, right. You guys are great at picking shingles. You guys are great at fixing problems. This might not be your forte, so call us.
Right.
Like I said, between me and my associate Michael, we can help you, and that's what we're here to do.
Yeah. And you know what? That's the kind of thing I think when you're talking about developing relationships with manufacturers, as a contractor, working with your manufacturer, that's the kind of relationship you want to have, because you want to know. And then, so let's talk just a little bit about some of your accessories, like BreezeMate. And how does that all fit in? And how can contractors kind of take some of those accessories, take your traditional, obviously, attic breeze and cardinal, and how can they talk to homeowners about those different extensions? Because sometimes they don't understand, there's a little bit extra cost for ventilation, but it's saving their roof.
Yeah, it's gonna make the shingles last longer. You're not gonna get the granule loss because of the heat. Okay. But as far as accessories go, the Attic Breeze works from just a standard thermal switch that's baked into the purchase price, okay? It's preset for 75 degrees. So as soon as that attic reaches 75 degrees, that fan's gonna automatically kick on.
Nice.
Nothing you need to do. There's no battery backup. There's no alternative power source, anything like that. It's strictly solar. Or if you want to see what the fan's actually doing in the attic, okay, for an extra price, you can pick up the BreezeMate. What's nice about the BreezeMate is there's no wire stripping. It all uses the same wire harness that the standard fan has. Okay. And when you mount the Attic Breeze in the attic and then link it with the white box down in the house, it's going to tell you the temperature of the attic. It's going to tell you the humidity level. Right?
Okay.
And you're going to be able to see if the fan's actually working, because that's something, these things are so quiet. People will call us and go, well, how do I know this thing's working?
Yeah.
Do I got to go up in the attic? And, and so that's kind of the other real reason behind BreezeMate is people say, I can see that it's working.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's a thing. So, and let's go on, talk just a little bit, continuing down that road. Contractors, I think contractors differentiate themselves when they really do talk about some of these things that maybe just come with it, right? It's just coming with the system, but not all contractors do that. Right? Not all contractors are doing ventilation, and they should. So what's some of the advice that you give to the contractors as they're talking to their homeowners to really help the homeowner understand how important it is to have good ventilation? And I know some of the things, like, they're going to save money on energy costs, right?
Yeah, that's the big thing. Not only is your shingles or your roofing structure going to last longer, but if we do this right, okay.
Yeah.
If we do it right, well then, the air conditioner doesn't have to work as hard. That's really the big thing. Okay, is helping people understand how to install this thing to where the homeowner really gets a return on that investment.
Right.
And also with a 30% tax credit that's still good through this year. There's another way. There's an immediate payoff on it.
And I don't think people always know about all of that, right? And that's what's so important. And when you think about, I know I have a neighbor right now who's looking at roofs, and she's been going through a lot of things, so it's been kind of fun. I'm like, well, look at this, think about that, do that. And but really, I don't think people understand, too, how important the longevity of their roof depends on proper installation and proper ventilation.
Yeah, and insurance companies this year aren't as readily, or nowadays aren't as readily going to swap out a roof just because you've got a little bit of damage to it. Right. Insurance are holding on to their money. And what we try to explain to people is when it comes to passive ventilation, especially ridge vents, all right, there's really only two ways ridge vents work. Either it just gets so hot that you get convection where heat rises, right? And if that's the case, that attic's never going to get any cooler throughout the day. Or when you get a 10 to 13 mile an hour breeze that blows over that ridge vent, that creates pressure in the attic. And as that breeze blows over the ridge vent, it creates draw, and that's what makes the soffits pull in air.
Okay.
Well,
okay,
that's
that makes
exactly
sense.
what my fan is doing.
All the time.
All the time.
Not just when there's a breeze.
Yeah. And so that's the one thing that we have an abundance of during the summer, okay, is sun, right? We'll get some breezy days, okay, but not as many as we'd like to. So, that's the important part about this is the fan's going to work all the time. Right. It's not going to be based off of a breeze or anything like that. So this thing, again, if we do this right, 10 to 15 changes an hour, that gets that temperature down.
It keeps it down. Saves money. Saves the roof.
Saves the roof.
All of the things down there.
Not to mention the Christmas decorations and all the rest of the stuff. You know,
everything else is in that attic.
All
that
the
needs to be
pictures
out.
of the football teams and everything.
I love it. How about troubleshooting? Because I know there's some crazy architectural houses out there. And so you have some contractors who are working on some really strange houses, and maybe it just doesn't work going into the design center. What is some of the things you do to help contractors troubleshoot? Well,
when it comes to a fan, if it's not working, there's really only three things you need to test. All right, the solar panel, the motor, the thermal switch. Okay. And so that's that's really where Michael and I come into play. Is we have a real short email that we can send out to them. I tell them all the time, hey, if you get out there and you've got issues, call me. Let me know when you're on the job, and I'll walk you through a couple of things, and we'll know for sure what the problem is. Okay. And once we know what the problem is, we FedEx parts out to the customer. Okay. And then so we've got a video that shows them exactly how to swap out the motor. You know, solar panels are pretty easy to change if that's the deal. So if somebody's having a problem, just call us while you're in the attic, because we can sit there and walk through the problems that you're seeing, and we can figure out what the deal is.
And while we're kind of talking about that and talking about the solar panels, I think that sometimes might scare people, although now today we have all these little solar panels out in our yard to
for lighting
do the
up,
fountain and the lights and everything like that. But how much, as contractors are looking at this, how much do they need to understand or even know about the solar panels part of the system?
Well, you want to know a little bit. Like, for instance, the worst thing for a solar panel is a shadow. All right. Right.
Yeah.
So, and we tell this to everybody, because the biggest thing is, before you ever cut the hole for the fan, right? Pull the fan out of the box, plug the thermal switch in. Let's just make sure nothing happened to it in transit, right? Whether it's FedEx or the distributor, right? And then once you test it and make sure it's running quietly, pull your cell phone out and just put it on that solar panel and watch how that motor behaves. Okay. This is the reason we have solar panels attached to the hood, or we also have the other version where they're detached, right? So if you got a reoccurring shadow from a chimney or a satellite dish, you can avoid that shadow, because what we want, so what we want is direct sun on that panel for as long of a period as we can possibly get. It's also the reason we put 16 gauge steel brackets on those panels. So if you got to be on the north side of the house, you can raise that panel up, and now you've got southern exposure. Right. And now you're getting that direct sun, and you're getting a return on your investment.
And so that's one of those things that troubleshooting wise, contractors can call in and kind of just say, okay, wait a minute, I'm getting tons of shadows here. What do I do? And maybe even looking at different parts of the house of where to put the fan, right? I think that's, and people are getting so used to this. They're used to having those kind of things solar paneled or solar powered, and it makes so much sense. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's once you get past the initial investment of the purchase price and installing it, there's really nothing you need to do to these things. There's no maintenance. I mean, some people ask me, should I get up there every year and clean the solar panel? I'm like, no, don't really need to. Yeah, I mean, these things are pretty much, once they're installed, they're plug and play. You don't need to do anything to them. Well, I think we all go up in our attic once a year. I go up a little more often because I've got one on my house.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I go up there from time to time just to kind of look at it, make sure, see what's going on. But mine's also easy to get to.
You don't get enough during the day. At night, you got to go up and check out your ventilation. So, okay, along that lines, I kind of want to talk because one of the things that we're seeing out there, Austin, that's really interesting is residential contractors are starting to really look at service and maintenance programs for their customers. And so I know this is a small part of it, but again, how great is it to be able to, as you're cleaning the gutters, checking the roof,
just doing
Christmas
that yearly
lights,
inspection.
whatever you're doing, yearly inspection, to go say, hey, can I just go up to the attic? I'm just going to check out your ventilation and make sure everything's looking good.
Well, and we've even got a contractor that in his yearly service, he'll go and take a look at the attic breeze. Yeah, and he's figured out how that you can plug a 9-volt battery into this thing, even when it's not 75 degrees, and just test it to make sure it's still running like it's supposed to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can put a multimeter to the solar panel to test and see if it's getting 18 to 20 volts. You can plug a 9-volt battery up to the motor and make it spin at 32 degrees if you need to. Okay, just to test it.
Yeah.
And then you can test the continuity on the multimeter. And then so this is what this guy does anytime he goes out to a house that has a attic breeze.
Yeah.
He just does a quick systems check on it, let them know everything's okay.
Smart.
Yep.
That's the kind of stuff that contractors can be doing that is recurring revenue, right? Every year.
Yeah, and this is even better is, okay, let's say a fan that you put on a house 10 years ago is having a problem.
Yeah.
Right? And you get a call to come out and take a look at it. Well, now you're getting on a roof. And at the end of the day, that's all a roofer wants is to get on a roof.
Get on a roof. Oh, maybe look at the siding.
Yeah,
if you do siding and windows, see what's going on out there. I mean,
you know, you've got a little water leak here. I see you've got a shingle that's got some damage here. I'll go ahead and take care of that. Do you want me to take care of this while I'm at it?
Right.
That's the kind of customer service that the next time they have an issue, they're calling that roofer.
They're calling them, Or when they have a friend who needs a roof.
Yeah,
even better.
Yeah, that's happened a lot.
That's happened a lot of referrals that way. Okay, let's talk about safety. One of the things with safety is, you know, in your training as you are working with these contractors, this is an ongoing for the industry. Sure. Being roped down, OSHA compliant, all the different things. So how much of that is in your trainings? And I realize they're going up into the attic, but they also have to cut the hole in the roof, all that. So how does safety fit into your trainings?
Well, obviously safety is important. It's really difficult for us to teach safety because at the end of the day, it's got to be the crew chief that's on the ground there at the job site that's really promoting the safety.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we can give them tips on certain ways to do things, but at the end of the day, we're just a voice over the phone. It's got to come from the crew chief that they're at the job site.
And it's important.
Oh,
it's so important that we keep that going from all sides. If they're hearing about it all the time, we hope that kind of changes some of the work habits that are out there right now. So as you are looking at contractors who are really trying to look at doing things different, differentiating their business, right?
Yeah, great way.
Attic Breeze is a great way to do that, to have a different conversation than some of the more traditional ventilation methods.
Yeah.
So as your advice to all of our contractors out there who are watching us right now on YouTube, what is some of your advice on how to, first of all, bring Attic Breeze into their offerings, and second of all, selling it and then installing it, to walk us through that process? Well,
I think the first thing is you got to get the homeowner to understand is, and this really isn't difficult, attics get hot in the summertime, okay? And then so how do we cool that? Well, if you go with conventional ridge vents or whirlybirds or slant backs, if you don't have a breeze, you're really not getting any air exchanges, okay? Because like I said, when it gets hot, so hot that heat starts rising, if there's not a breeze, well, that's it. You know, that attic's just going to be hot all day long. If you get a breeze over a ridge vent, you'll probably get 3 to 5 air exchanges an hour, something like that. Okay. So when you talk about the life of your roof, right, and what the deductibles are for getting a roof repaired,
right?
Okay, sometimes $7,000.
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes more, right? So now with just a small investment in an Attic Breeze and installing it, well, now you're ensured that, we're doing a much better job of cooling the attic. And then now what we can do is you can actually track it or watch it when you get into the summertime.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody knows what their bill was last year.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. And then compare that and go back to your customers and ask for some of those testimonials and some of those, referrals, because they've experienced it now for a summer. And so, that's great.
We've got some good ones too. There's a lady out in College Station that couldn't believe it. She sent us her bill from last year, and she made sure that the temperature was the same, and she got her bill from this year, and the temperature was the same. There was a noticeable difference.
Wow, that is great. So, okay. For a cruise, for the installation part of it, right? You said you have your presentations Tuesdays and Thursdays where people can
Tuesday and Friday.
Tuesday and Friday, where people can call in and talk to you and have a webinar, have a presentation. They want, how does training work for the cruise once you decide? So as a business owner, roofing company, they're going to start using Attic Breeze. How do they train their crews? Well,
what we encourage is anybody that's going to be touching a fan, get into the training. Okay? Anybody. It's not for just the project managers and the owners. Anybody that's going to be on a roof touching a fan, we encourage them, come watch it. All right? Because everybody hears something different. Right? So, if we can get more of the crews in the training and everybody's going to hear something different, somebody's not going to hear, hey, we need to test the fan before we cut the hole. Yeah. And the other guy's going to know, I need to plug thermal switch in before I slide it in there. Right. Or something about the breeze mate. Everybody's going to hear something different. So we encourage everybody, anybody that's going to be on a roof touching a fan, get them in here to training. And then again, if you've got questions, reach out to Mike or me. Happy to help.
Yeah. One-on-one. And that is the best. Yeah. I have to tell you, Austin, thank you. This is such a great live roofing road trip. Yeah. I love it. We're not going to be live the rest of the day, but we are going to be doing a bunch of recording, another podcast, and a plant tour. So
I think we're going to put you to work out in the plant.
We are. I'm going to go to work out in the plant. I'm going to check this out. So we're going to be doing this all day long, so you'll be able to see the rest of the story, kind of the story after the story that's going to be coming your way. But you started this out just perfect, Austin. Thank you so much.
Cool. I enjoyed this. I appreciate you guys coming by.
It was so much fun. You can find out all this information, everything you need on the directory on Roofer's Coffee Shop for Attic Breeze. So please check it out. This is something that is great for your business and to be offering and to really add not only savings for your customers, but also longevity for those roofs. So we will be back again. Be sure to check out all of our podcasts, although not all of them are so cool to be live as this roofing road trip, but check them all out under the RLW navigation. Be sure to subscribe and set those notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We'll be seeing you next time on Roofing Road Trips.
If you've enjoyed the ride, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us on every roofing adventure. Make sure to visit rooferscoffeeshop.com to learn more. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next roofing road trip.